at 75, and it looks like it even went down further to 6%. Now I'm getting a little scared, and it does say 5%. So it keeps going down. We're gonna go and drop it down to 7 because it's dropped down 3% in the last like 20 minutes. We never would have come to a place like this, but we're here and look at all this awesome goats.
You take it all, you fatty boy.
The number one question I get time and time again from friends as well as strangers is how far can I go in a Tesla on a single charge, and how long does it take to charge a Tesla on road trips? Well, I'll be answering all those questions today, as well as telling you how to make sure that you don't have to worry or fear about range anxiety whenever you're driving a Tesla on any road trips. If you guys want to know more and see other awesome videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and as always, like the video. Now, this is my first real electric vehicle. In the past with my gas car, I drive a ton, and I've driven on small 500-mile road trips like the road trip from Northern California to Southern California a bunch of times. I never second guessed myself into thinking I would be stranded in the middle of nowhere because there's nowhere to fuel up. I mean, there's literally gas stations everywhere. However, when I got a Tesla, I had to stop and think. What if I'm driving and I need to charge, but there isn't a charger free or available? What if I can't find a charger? I'm literally screwed. It's a good thing Tesla batteries have a lot of range on a single charge. At 100%, the Model Y can get about 326 miles. I actually compared Tesla to other electric vehicles in my last video, so make sure you guys click on the link for that. Regardless, however, even though I had a lot of miles on one charge, just like a gas car, I wouldn't drive it from full to empty on a road trip. In an electric car, I was honestly scared to drive it anywhere far away from my home or any urban areas where I know there's chargers available. I mean, one of my friends is gonna get a Tesla, but they were saying how they would never drive their Tesla on a road trip because they were too afraid that they wouldn't find a charger and be able to charge their car. And filling up gas is so much easier. But why get a Tesla then? Have you guys ever heard the saying, sometimes you have to run before you can walk? Well, we did just that. My family and I got our brand new Tesla. We put a paint protection film on that bad boy, got brand new wheels, and then we went on a 2,000-mile road trip to Oregon. Right away, I started freaking out because our old car, our Prius Prime battery range indicator, was horribly wrong. Sometimes it would say I had 26 miles of range left and I'd only drive 1 mile and I'd lose like 10 miles, which was crazy. What if this happens to the Tesla and it says I'll have enough range to reach my destination, but as I'm driving, the range decreases and I'm not able to make it? Then I'll be stranded and I have to call AAA and it'll just be a huge headache. This is actually something that all new Tesla owners face, and it's actually called range anxiety. However, before we get to range anxiety and how to cure all your problems, let's quickly talk about what contributes to battery drain on your vehicle and how you can get the most miles out of your car during a road trip. Now, with any battery related thing, if it's not charging, it slowly loses its state of charge over time. For instance, if you charge your car to say 80%, it's normal for your car to lose 1 to 2% of battery range a day. So if you leave your car at the airport for a week, you can assume you'll lose about 7 to 10% of battery when you come back. That can be super bad if you arrive to the airport with only 20% of battery life left. Now, there are contributing factors that can drain your battery faster, and it's what we like to call phantom drain. Sounds scary, right? Aside from any hardware or software glitches, a few factors that can actually contribute to phantom drain are Sentry mode. This is the #1 battery killer because it needs power to power all the cameras while the car is in park. It's Tesla's own version of a built-in dash cam, and it drains the battery real good. And also, if there's always motion, it's always going to be recording. When I got my car wrapped and I had Sentry mode on, I was losing 1 to 2% of battery an hour. The good thing is you can easily disable Sentry mode on the fly by pressing the red button or by simply going into your app and disabling Sentry mode. Smart Summon Standby. Another neat feature with Tesla is their summon feature. However, there's an added option in the menu called Smart Summon Standby. Smart Summon Standby makes the car more responsive and quicker to start up when you have the summon feature enabled on your phone. It keeps the cameras and sensors on idle, ready for you to summon the vehicle. It's nice to have, but it honestly saves maybe 30 seconds with it on, so I ended up just leaving it off so I don't get that phantom drain. Cabin overheat protection. Another awesome thing with Teslas is the ability to keep the interior of your car cool on super hot days. This is great to have if you live somewhere hot and don't want to arrive in a super hot car. Yes, you can simply pull up your app a few minutes before entering and turn on the AC that way. But if you want to protect something in your interior, you can also turn this feature on. There's actually 2 settings, no AC and AC. I didn't find much battery drain with this on no AC, However, when I have it on AC, it kicks up the AC when it's super hot and it drains a ton of battery. Checking the app constantly. Another thing that drains your battery is constantly checking your app. If you've seen my other Tesla videos, you'll know how important it is for the car to go to sleep. And it can only sleep when things like Sentry Mode and Smart Summon are turned off. When it is asleep and you open the app to check on the status, the car has to wake up and turn things on, therefore draining the battery quicker. Overall, for me on my road trip, as long as I knew there were chargers around, I kept Sentry Mode on and cabin heat protection on with no AC, and I didn't run into any issues. However, if you're staying somewhere with no ability to charge, I would for sure turn these features off. Lastly, another thing that can drain your battery faster is your lead foot. Now, coming from a gas car, my main goal on any road trip is to get there as fast as I can. Speed, P, fill up gas, speed again, and I'm there, baby. My butt and back would hurt, and I was always super afraid I would get caught speeding. With Teslas, however, you gotta change it up a bit, and it honestly made my road trips so much easier and more stress-free. I realized there are two types of Tesla drivers. There are drivers that speed to get to their supercharger destination as fast as possible, with as little juice possible, to have the quickest charge times. However, the faster you drive, the quicker your battery depletes, decreasing your range. You'll have to charge more frequently. And then there are the ones that drive at normal speed to increase their efficiency and decrease the amount of times they have to charge, but charge longer at one stop. For me, I do a little bit of both, depending on how far away I am from a supercharger. What's awesome with Teslas is you can actually just put your car on autopilot and let the car stay in the lane or change lanes or even exit the freeway for you. It's nice because I don't really have to worry about driving, and it removes all my driving fatigue. So when I arrive to my destination, I'm super refreshed and energized. Overall, it's all up to you how you drive, but for me with the full self-driving package, driving the Tesla is so easy and relaxing. Check out my video to see if you're deciding on purchasing the $10,000 upgrade to see if full self-driving is worth it. So now that you know about things that could drain your battery faster, let's talk about charging and how long it takes to charge the Tesla at superchargers. So the biggest question, how long does it take to charge a Tesla? I mean, with gas, it takes about 5 to 15 minutes depending if you use the bathroom or not. But with the Tesla, it actually depends on a ton of factors. However, overall, it is a tad bit longer than filling up at a gas station. For instance, a Tesla's battery charge time depends on whether the battery is warm enough or not, as well as how much juice is left in the battery. If the battery isn't warm enough, the charge rate will be super slow, and what only takes 15 minutes can take 30 minutes or more. For instance, if you wanted to leave in the morning, but it's super cold outside, and you decide to charge your car when you wake up, it could take much longer as the battery isn't preconditioned and heated yet. But the awesome thing is, Tesla's vehicles get better over time. Tesla thought of this, and you can actually precondition the battery and heat it up to prepare the car for charging at home before you go on a road trip. It even works while you're on a road trip. As long as the car knows it needs to charge at a supercharger, if it's necessary, it will begin to heat up the battery so that the battery can charge faster when you arrive to the supercharger. And it actually works. On-route battery warm-up, it can precondition the battery so it can charge up to 50% faster than if there wasn't preconditioning. With on-route battery warm-up, it can actually precondition the battery so that it can charge up to 50% faster than without it. Also, it does help if your battery state of charge is super low when you arrive at the supercharger. This makes it kind of fun and kind of scary because the lower battery percentage you arrive at a supercharger, the faster you'll charge your car. We are at 8% right now and we have 27 miles and it's 0.5 miles away. So pretty much 27 miles gives us 8%. Now, I definitely don't recommend doing that. You always want to try to have at least 10% battery life, just in case you miss a wrong turn or for emergencies or anything like that. Because the wife is freaking out because she's afraid that she's not going to make it in time, but I know we'll make it. But this just shows how accurate it is that we will make it with 8%, like it said. For instance, if you arrive at a supercharger with 70% battery, even if it's a brand new 250 kilowatt supercharger, your output power may not be that great, maybe 70 kilowatts. And that would actually increase your charge time, and it would take longer to get from 70 to 80%. However, if you arrive with 20% battery, you can go from 20 to 50% in only 10 minutes. You can also technically fill up 162 miles in only 15 minutes. That's literally me going to the bathroom, coming back to check my phone and my Instagram to see if I got any new followers, and then I'm done charging. It's that quick. I will say, however, one thing you have to get used to when you're driving a Tesla is not filling up your battery to 100%, but getting you enough miles to get to your next destination. and it's completely different than gas cars where you go from empty to full. This saves a ton of time and is way more efficient than charging your car to 100% at every supercharger. So in reality, on average, at most superchargers, we only rest for about 15 minutes unless we know there isn't a supercharger nearby at our next destination. If there isn't a supercharger nearby, we'll charge for an additional 10 or 15 minutes to make sure we have enough juice just in case. Now that we're on the topic of supercharging, let's discuss Tesla's supercharging network. This is Tesla's bread and butter, and this is a real reason why you can go on any road trip and not worry. There are superchargers everywhere. They did a great job of placing it in perfect places that people travel. Also, they place it usually near grocery stores, hotels, malls, and markets. So pretty much while you're charging, it's super easy to go shopping or explore and do something fun. Tesla does a great job of letting you know on the screen and in the app how long you have to stay at your supercharger for until you can continue to your next trip, as well as how much battery you'll have when you arrive. And all the information you need is located on the screen. You can see which stalls are available. If the supercharger is located in a parking structure, it will even tell you what level it's located on. At the Kettleman City Supercharger, it even gives you secret info like the security code to use the bathroom. And if a supercharger is full, it usually tells you how long you have to wait for one to be available. And whenever I had to wait, it was only minutes. Think of it like waiting in line at Costco gas, but instead of just waiting, you could be watching Netflix. Or you can simply navigate to another supercharger nearby that has stalls available, which is awesome. Also, the one thing you don't want to worry about when you're on a road trip is how long it takes to start charging your car. Simply just back up and plug the charger in, and that's it. And to charge the car doesn't cost that much either. It's definitely cheaper than a gas car. With Tesla, it's so cheap. You can actually see our charging history and driving in and around Northern California, and then driving to Southern California, and it only costs us about $42 for the entire trip total. It also shows you on the screen how much it would cost to charge per kilowatt, and it also depends on the time of day, as peak hours does cost more to charge. However, not by much. So now that we're on the topic of Tesla supercharging, there's actually Tesla supercharging etiquette. What that means is if you go to a supercharger, you'll usually see a car in every other spot. And this isn't because we're shy and we don't want to be right next to someone. Guys, you understand. So the reason why we park at every other stall is that if two cars park right next to each other, the charger is on the same circuit. And it actually splits the power between the two cars, increasing the charge time for the both of you. This only applies if you look in front of the supercharger and see a number and a letter. For instance, 2A and 2B. If someone is on 2A, try not to charge on 2B. I mean, if it's busy and you have no choice, then it's totally fine. However, if it isn't busy and you park right next to someone, you'll probably get some evil stare downs. Another thing to understand, but don't really need to pay too much attention to, is the kilowatt at the charger. Pretty much next to the charger info, you'll see 150 kilowatts or 250 kilowatts or even 72 kilowatts. That pretty much means you'll be charging at an older 72 kilowatt charger or at a version 2 150 kilowatt charger or a newer version 3 250 kilowatt charger. But the main difference is their charge rate. Version 2 and version 3 superchargers look the exact same. However, the version 3 superchargers do charge a little faster. For instance, one of my favorite superchargers to charge at on NorCal to SoCal road trips is the Kettleman City Supercharger. It even has a Tesla lounge. Most of the superchargers here charge the car at 250 kilowatts, so you can be on your way faster. However, don't freak out if you arrive at a 150 kilowatt charger because the charge time isn't that big of a difference. So next, let's talk about Tesla's built-in navigation as well as other apps I use to really help with my range anxiety. You can simply put in where you want to go in the navigation and the Tesla will let you know which superchargers you need to stop at and for how long, making it super easy. Tesla's navigation's point of interest uses Google Maps. However, with the actual navigation, they use their own software. So I just want to say, do not trust the Tesla navigation completely because we just found out there was an accident on the 5, which they closed down all the lanes. And it still wants me to go on the 5. So I had to use Google Maps, but definitely use a different navigation besides Tesla's. Tesla's is great, but sometimes it's not perfect. This is why I love to have Google Maps and Waze open while I'm on a road trip. Joe Wall was kind enough to send me 2 versions of their cell phone mount, and one of them is wireless charging. When the phone is on the Tesla wireless charger, I can't see the navigation and the screen at all. However, with the Joe Wow wireless cell phone mount, it's level and right where it needs to be. Also, it's super easy to route the cable from the back USB-C port into the charger. You can watch my radar detector video to see how I remove the trim so you can have a clean installation. Anyways, I love the Joe Wall mount, and the non-charging one can hide away so you can keep that clean Tesla minimalistic look. One super useful piece of information that has removed any range anxiety for me is the trip tab. When you pull this up and you have navigation on, it calculates the elevation as well as your current speed and lets you know how much battery you'll have when you reach your destination. It's a game changer. It displays your entire trip, and if you zoom in on the graph, you can see where on the trip you will gain range and where you will lose range. It also changes based on your current speed and has been accurate 100% of the time when nearing the destination as to how much range I would have left. However, I still run into issues because what if I wanted to choose a different Tesla Supercharger that wasn't on the Tesla navigation? Also, what if I wanted to do a trip and plan all my routes to see how much range I'd have left? What do I do then? Now, I'm not sponsored by this company at all. However, if you have a Tesla, you have to go and get the Better Route Planner app and create a free account online. All I know is if you have a Tesla, you need this app. They have a website and an app, and if you create a free account, it synchronizes between the app and the website. So when we went to Oregon, we planned our entire trip using a Better Route Planner. I was able to see all the superchargers in the area, and if I click it, I'm able to go to the Tesla website Supercharger to see what they have to offer, as well as get the address. The app also tells you all the food and lodging nearby. It's honestly very similar to the Tesla built-in navigation planner, but it breaks down everything for you and tells you how much range you have left when you arrive to your destination. And you can customize everything. The biggest difference between this and Tesla is that Tesla navigates you automatically to the supercharger it thinks you should go to. However, with the Better Route Planner, it does navigate you automatically, but you can choose a different supercharger if you wanted to. With the Better Route Planner, you can easily change which supercharger you want to go to, say a 250 kilowatt versus a 150 kilowatt, or a supercharger with the Starbucks instead of the middle of nowhere. And the app will tell you how much range you'll have when you get there. I know one big supercharger on the NorCal to SoCal road trips that the Tesla always navigates me to is the Tejon Ranch Supercharger. But the problem is during holidays and rush hour, it gets super busy. And it doesn't help that Tesla navigates it to that supercharger every time. So using a Better Route Planner, I can simply navigate to a different supercharger and it'll tell me how many miles I'll have left. And I simply look for the supercharger on the Tesla navigation so I can use the trip tab and know exactly my estimated range when I arrive. Overall, it really helped me when driving to my future destinations and is seriously a game changer for any road trip. Other apps I have on my phone that come in handy when there aren't superchargers available are apps like PlugShare. PlugShare is great because it lets you know of any EV charging in the area, not just Tesla superchargers. It can also help you find Tesla destination chargers, which are basically the home chargers we have at places like hotels, and it's usually free. For instance, we went to a super nice hotel in Sacramento, and it was awesome to see that PlugShare told me that they had Tesla destination chargers available at that location. I also have accounts with EVgo and ChargePoint just in case I need to charge the car at one of these locations, making it super easy to start charging. Just make sure to use your anti-Karen device so nobody tries and takes your charger while you're charging. Aside from that, in only a few months, we've logged in over 10,000 miles on our Tesla. Using the Better Route Planner app and the Tesla trip navigation function, my road trips have been so much easier. It literally removed any type of range anxiety I had with EV cars. I honestly prefer the Tesla to a gas car now because of how easy it is to drive and how fun it is to supercharge at a supercharger. The full self-driving and the amazing autopilot, after a 6-hour drive, I feel so refreshed, and I honestly feel like I've only been driving for an hour. Thanks for watching my video, guys, and I'll see you guys next week.